All right. Welcome to the show. Welcome to the Impact on Humanity show, everybody. I am your host, Orly Amor, and I am so excited to have a guest today that is doing amazing work. And I'm going to tell you about her right now. Her name is Rosemary Olender. Rosemary Olender is an educator, consultant, speaker, and nonfiction author who blends professional expertise with heartfelt guidance on child development. With decades of experience supporting families and schools, she offers practical, compassionate insights to help navigate the everyday challenges of parenting and education. You can read her bio on our show when it will be on YouTube. You will have all the information how to reach Rosemary, and let's just welcome her to the show. Welcome, Rosemary.
Hi, Orly. It's good to be here.
Yes. So tell me, how did this book come even about? Or if you want to start with something else, I'm okay with it. This is just one of those fun shows.
Okay. Okay. Let's start with why I'm here.
Yes.
Um, Many years ago, I was sitting with my father the night before he passed away. I was actually in the hospital with him, and he took what was to be probably his last moments to
Mhm.
speak, and the last energy he had to apologize to me. He said, "Let me apologize to you and your sister." And I said, "For what?" And he said, "For leaving you with nothing." That struck me so deep because my sister and I had been talking about how devastated we were going to be to lose him, and the fact that we were so blessed and so rich in our lives for having him as a dad. And so I looked at him and I said, "What are you talking about? Tony and I are so incredibly rich in our lives because of you." And he was puzzled and he said, "Well, I'm dying. There's no money in the bank. The house has no marketable value. The car is used. So I'm leaving you with nothing." I said, "Dad, first of all, those are not the things that make people rich. The things that make people rich are the gifts you gave your entire life to people, and especially to Tony and I and Mom as we were growing up." And he said, "I don't know what you're talking about." So it was my turn. So for the next 40 minutes or so, I delineated for him what I considered to be those non-material gifts that together as a bundle created two individuals for sure, and a lot of other people he impacted, with the ability to be very rich, resilient, and independent, and confident and happy, which all led to our personal and professional success. So that was in 1991, believe it or not. And that sat there while I had to work a real job, 40, 50, 60 hours a week teaching and administrating until COVID. And then COVID came along, and I said, "Oh, I guess I should sit down now and put all of my writings and all of my reflections over the years into a book." So I wanted to honor him with a memoir to his character because it was so rich, and everybody who knew him felt that and felt that they wanted to know him more. So the book was born, and the book is written so that each chapter is a different gift that is so powerful for a child to have. um, and it explains why it's a power, what some of the manifestations of that power that my father gave us, how he showed us, how he talked with us about it, how he demonstrated it, and how we absorbed it from him. And then I give some suggestions to parents on some things they might want to do and include in their family. You know, I don't know if you know this or not, but in the last decade, the number of college students on antidepressants has more than doubled. And as importantly, or maybe more importantly, that is really kind of a scary statistic, is that children, young children in elementary age and middle school age, that are being diagnosed with anxiety disorders is escalating rapidly. We need to do something. We know that the world has gotten tougher. We know that it's gotten harder. We know that more crap is being thrown at us left and right all the time. We need to raise kids who can deal and get through and come out ahead with all of that happening. That's where this book is. People who read this book said to me, it's more than a tribute to your dad. This is a testimony to parents about how to parent early on and create strong bonds with their children, even their older children, to give their kids a richness they might not already have. So that's kind of why I'm here, and that's where the book came from, to spread that word, to say that kids need your presence, not your purchases.
Hmm. And what's the name of the book?
The book is called Coffee and Wisdom, A Father's Legacy to Leading a Rich Life.
Awesome.
And go ahead.
So, uh, I understand now that you basically answered my other question at the same time, which is why this information is or topic is important, and I get it, and it's from your own experience, so I love that. What is it that you want to give to the audience to come away with that they can use right now? Like, what is the one thing they can take right now and start thinking about how to do that?
Okay. The one thing they need to understand is that the closer the bonds between them and their children, the more secure and safe their children will feel. That is what grounds kids, is the presence of their parents and other adults in their lives that let them know that they're important, they're special, they can do anything they want to do. And, you know, they can be responsible adults and become successful. So that's really important. And what parents need to understand is that parenting is a journey. It's not a destination. We think, okay, you go to the hospital, you have a baby, you take the baby home. I'm a parent. No, that's just getting in the car. The rest of the journey is exactly what most journeys are. It's fits and starts, it's wonderful adventures, it's dead ends, it's crashes sometimes. And you don't have to be perfect to be a parent. What I want to do is help parents who feel overwhelmed. We live in a world of disconnect right now. Everybody is so focused on devices that they've lost the human connections that you and I grew up with, that we had because those distracting things were not there. We need to get back some of that. And what I hope to help parents and educators do, teachers as well, because what I hear from parents and what I hear from teachers is that they are so stressed by the time constraints that they are under, that they're frustrated and they're overwhelmed. And they want to be more connected to their kids. They want to be more present in their kids' lives, but they're so busy. I mean, we've got parents working 2, 3 jobs, and we know that. And what I want to say is it's not about more time. It's about what you do with the time you have and what you do with the time you can find. I am a master at finding ways around problem situations and working with people and saying, okay, what can we use what I term as organized disabandonment? What can we look at and say, okay, we need to find 2 or 3 half-hour periods a week for you to, because you want to sit down with your kids, devices away, an activity, something you're going to do, a conversation you're going to do. Originally, my book was going to be called Conversations Over Coffee. And the reason for that is because my entire life, from when I was a child, my father would come to my room in the evening while I was doing homework, and he would say, come in the kitchen, have a cup of coffee, or have milk when I was younger, have a cup of coffee and some cookies with me, let's talk. And we would talk every night. And my father was a master at communications, interpersonal communications. And he had a 10th grade education. So I tell parents who say, well, I didn't go to college, you don't need to go to college. You don't need a big bank account. What I want to say to parents is put your wallets away. Raise your rich kids without your wallets, because it's about your presence, not your purchases. All your kids need. I would have so many parents who didn't have a lot of money say, well, I don't have enough money to give my kids what they need. And I'd say, stop. The only thing your kid needs is you. What is sitting across from me, across from this desk, across from this table. That's all they need. Let me show you some ways. And in my program, in my coffee and parenting program, I talk about the three pillars of intentional parenting, what parents need to do. So you asked that. So let me tell you the three things because they're pretty simple. They're basic communication things, but how to start those strong bonds. One is to observe consistently. You as a parent need to understand each of your children as an individual. There are no two the same. They might have some likes the same, some dislikes the same, but they're all different. You need to understand and pay attention to what their likes, dislikes, fears, excitements are all about, what gets to them, so that you can understand them. And I also work with a personality, so I help parents understand the animals that they're living with and they're dealing with, and the teachers the same, the animals they're dealing with in the classroom. And so the first pillar is to observe consistently so that you can say, yeah, I know my son John likes to do A, B, C, and D and would never want to go hunting with me. That's never going to work. That's his personality won't allow that. My daughter might go. She loves to hunt. Isn't that strange? But she does. Those kinds of things. The second pillar is to listen actively. Okay. And so that means it's different than hearing. How many times will a parent say to you or a teacher will say, I heard you. Yeah, you heard me, but you weren't listening to what I was saying. So you need to listen actively. So when your kids run to you and they say, Mommy, look, I have this picture that I drew. You don't just say, oh, that's nice, honey, and push them away, because that's the most important thing to them right now. And that dialogue is critical. So you want to listen actively and you want to respond. You want to make eye contact, even if you have to get down. My worst job was when I was an elementary principal and I had to get down at the kids' level. I had a chiropractor seeing me twice a week for months because it killed me to do that. But getting to their level is important because what I know and what I've heard over the years from kids themselves and from parents who have sort of disconnected with their teens is that if you don't listen to your children when they're young and they bring you these little stories, they're not going to come to you when they're older and it's the big stories you need to hear, like who's doing drugs, who wants to have sex with them, that kind of stuff. So listening actively is key. So
Absolutely.
observing and listening. And the third pillar is to model carefully what you want your children to become, because they will become you. And
Mm.
they see from infancy. They get it. If you're a yeller, your baby knows it. If you're someone who is rude to people on the street, your toddler, your young child, your teenager sees that. They know that. So you want to model. Your kids will learn much more from what you do than from what you tell them. It's, this old do as I tell you, not as I do, doesn't work. Doesn't work. So in this world, my goal is that we raise kids that are kinder, gentler, more empathetic, less bigoted, less fearful of others, more inclusive. And maybe we can drag some adults kicking and screaming into that too. I don't know. But I really hope that the next generation or this generation can sort of smooth things out from what we're dealing with right now.
For sure. Well, this has been amazing. Oh my God, so much to take away. And I do understand and believe what you're saying because I'm a product of that childhood. And I totally understand it. So there's a lot of inner work that a lot of these parents also need to do before raising their children, knowing what they want their children to become and giving them that nurturing that they absolutely need, that doesn't come from a car or a boat or a toy that will maybe satisfy them short term, even short term, immediate, like it's immediate gratification, where the parents need to think about, the short term sacrifice for the long term reward with their children growing up to be pillars of society and helping others along the way. So they're a product of their parents. I love that you said that and one of the things that is really important that you said was, do as I say, not as I do, which is also a bad mantra for parents to adhere to,
Mhm.
because that shows the hypocrisy of who we are and what we're doing. It's better to lead by example and integrity, and authenticity, so that the child replicates that part, which is amazing. So now let's go into our fun stuff for a minute here. Are you ready?
Sure,
I
I
love
think.
it. Well, it's not hard, so don't worry about that. But we want to get into Rosemary a little bit. What's your
Okay.
favorite color,
Red.
and why is that?
I think because I got the most feedback from others when I was wearing red as a young child, and my
Uh-huh.
memories are, oh, that color looks so good on you.
Right.
Interestingly enough, I mostly wear dark colors, but red is my favorite.
I
And
love
it's
it.
got to
I
be a
love
certain red. It's got to be a red that is more towards black, not towards orange, if you know what I mean.
like a wine red. Yeah.
Yeah, sort of like what I have on right here. It's a
Gotcha.
aubergine or whatever,
Okay.
purple
Yeah.
purple wine. Yeah.
Gotcha. Awesome. What's your favorite day of the week and why?
I think Sunday because it gives me a chance to think back on the week, set up for the following week and think about it, but also go take a nap if I want to. I feel like on a Sunday I can do that and it's it's okay.
I get it. I actually get it. Oh, Lord. Okay. On a deck of cards, what is your favorite card in suit?
Oh, that's a good one. I'm not much of a card player. Um,
Don't need to be. You
probably
just
probably the Queen of Hearts. And I would
okay.
say because um I lead with my heart. I mean, with me, it's always about kindness. It's always about empathy.
Mhm.
I think I am a bit of an empath, and that has been my lot in life going forward. So I think probably the Queen of Hearts.
Gotcha. And is there a book that has shaped you?
Yes, several, but the one that I think has made the most difference in my professional life,
Mm-hmm.
and is called The Tipping Point.
Oh, I love that. Yes, good,
Yeah. And
good
the
book.
reason for that is because what I tend to do in the way I operate and the way I would operate with families or teachers is I like to do root cause analysis. I like to get at the bottom of why something is happening. And usually there's a trigger point
Right? The tipping
for
point.
that.
Got it.
And
Yes.
like when you talk about children with behavior problems, okay, the
Mm-hmm.
fastest way to deal with a child with behavior problems is to do a root cause analysis and observe and follow the child and really pay attention and
Mm-hmm.
say, oh, I know what the triggers are now,
Right.
because behaviors of communication, they're
Yes.
communicating a fear or an anxiety or something. You need to know what's causing that. I had one
Yes.
child who used to go into fit of rage and break things, and we could not figure out what it was, and it took us time and it took us time and it took us time, and we finally figured out he was raging at women like you and me who wear glasses.
Oh,
So if he was walking down the hall and there was a middle-aged woman, not young girls, but middle-aged women who would come towards him with glasses on, he would attack.
oh wow.
And we were like, we never knew why, but
Right.
we had his aide who worked with him because he was a disabled child
Right.
steer away from women that were walking towards them with glasses
Gotcha.
on.
Who is this book by? The Tipping Point. I'll let you say it.
Malcolm Gladwell.
Thank you. And one thing that we only have about 30 seconds. What is it that you would like to leave the audience with? Maybe a quote or something that will be impactful in their life.
I think that what parents need to understand is that the greatest inheritance they can give their children is not in things, but it is who they become. That's
Absolutely.
their inheritance.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for being on the show. Number one. Number two is that your information will be posted underneath the show notes and everything so that people can reach out to you and so on. And I'm really glad we had this conversation. It's such an important conversation to have, and it totally impacts our humanity because the impact on humanity starts at the home, and it starts with parents and teachers and leaders understanding who they're talking to and how they're talking to them, and especially how they behave. So I'll see you guys all next time. Thank you, Rosemary, for being on the show. We loved having you, and we'll see you soon again. Everybody, have a great, great time listening to the show again. And we will see you guys next time. Remember, impact on humanity, because that is all of our responsibility. Take care. Bye bye.
Thank you.